there. How you doing? It's been a while.
Oh my gosh. Hi. How are you? When was the last time we did this? Has it been like 4 years? Probably. That sounds about right, honestly, because my eldest turned 4. And yes, now I have 2 children. So time has gotten away from us. And here we are. I thought maybe I would do this whole thing this month because I read a lot of books and I've been doing a lot of silent reviews because that's really what I can handle right now. There's just been a lot. There's been a lot going on, but I still am a reader and I will always be a reader. So this month I actually tore through a bunch of books and I thought I would give them some due diligence and a little bit more attention, doing the best that I can, because honestly I haven't done this in such a long time that I'm probably going to sound like a bumbling idiot trying to remember, first of all, what I read and talk about what I liked versus didn't like. Bear with me while we try this for the first time in like a couple years. Okay, so I read a ton, like seriously, in March. Why? I don't really know, because this month was very busy for my family and I. I don't really know how this happened, but it did. And I'm pretty impressed. So that being said, I kind of want to go like, not least to greatest, because there wasn't a bad book this month, but there are definitely some that I enjoyed far more than others. So I think I want to take you on an adventure of kind of like my, they were good, but they weren't great, to like my, oh my gosh, I sobbed at the end of them books today. I'm going to start with the one that I just really, this one hurt my heart. This one hurt my heart, and it's because I love Pride and Prejudice. I loved it since I was a teenager. This one is called Accomplish. It's a Georgia Darcy novel, which tells me that there's more of them. I'm sorry, Georgie Darcy novel, and it's by Amanda Quain. It is about a girl, Georgiana, who is at like a prep school. Her brother Fitz has graduated, and basically she just is very used to getting her way because of her money, and she feels that she has to prove him because she gets into the situation with Wickham where he's like dealing drugs out of her room, and so she has been kind of shamed by the prep school, and she is determined that she is going to prove to Fitz that she is a capable human being. She can take care of herself. She doesn't need him. She doesn't need the money. And it fell flat for me, is really what it was. I expected more from it, and it just felt like a prep school girl complaining about everything. Oh, it was okay, but I don't know that I would read any more of them. Sometimes the Girl by Jennifer Mason Black. This was an interesting one. It started initially to give me Evelyn Hugo vibes because of the reporter kind of coming in and trying to piece together a life story. But it's a teenage girl who's been hired to help clean out the attic of an elder woman who she had like a one famous story, and that was it. And it kind of goes through her having to clean out the attic. The children get involved. She doesn't want the children involved. It's like a whole thing. There's some relationship stuff in there. She wants to be a writer, but she is at a deadlock because of a situation that happened. She has like a huge writer's block going on. It wasn't necessarily my favorite, but there were a couple of points where I was like, ooh, as someone who used to write all the time and has major writer's block often, that there were parts that stuck out to me for sure. I really was hoping to love Soul of Shadow. This is Emma Noyes. I was hoping to love this a little more than I did. I mean, look at those purple pages. They're gorgeous. And like the inside cover of it is stunning. But this was one that it felt like there was a little too much going on. There is a boy who goes missing. All of a sudden there's these Norse symbols all around. She ends up meeting this boy who, come to find out, he is a mare, like a nightmare, and part of Norse mythology, and so it kind of dives into that. She's lost a sibling, and there's a whole connection behind that. It just felt like it was doing a lot without doing a lot. There's going to be a sequel to it. It does leave on a cliffhanger. It wasn't bad. it wasn't great. It wasn't exactly what I was hoping out of it at the time. Oh, I love Rex Ogle. I do. He is actually writing under Ray Tercerio. I'm gonna butcher that. Tercerio, and then Claudia, oh no, Ogure, I believe, did the graphic design. It is a colorful graphic novel. This is a reimagining of Anne and Green Gables, but with a young gay boy. And it was sweet. It was sweet. And I enjoyed it. I did. But it also, I don't know. There were parts that I was like, oh my gosh, I remember reading that book when I was a kid. And then there were parts where I was just like, oh my gosh, this is so silly. And then you understand that that is the point of it. It does deal a lot with homophobia and intolerance and just that perseverance in life and trying to find one's way. Whew, this just came out. I ended up with an advanced reader copy. Oop, I forgot about a big bookmark in there. This is Scott Rington. This is fantasy and sci-fi combined. And I struggle with sci-fi. If you remember, like, however many years ago I tried to do a whole sci-fi month. I am a big Star Wars fan. I love Star Wars. But I also, like, that's the only thing I love. This was different for me, with magical elements plus the science fiction elements mixed together. Like, you know, they're flying on these big crafts, but there's a dragon and there's magical powers. Maybe part of it is because I listened to it and I didn't necessarily put my eyeballs on the page. That could be a huge part of it. I'm not really sure. Maybe if I had read it, it would be a little bit more appealing to me. It did have a little bit of Lord of the Flies vibe to it, because they do end up stranded on an island and then they're trying to sort out who's the leader and all that kind of stuff. It was okay. It was okay. Then, according to plan, this one was sweet. This is Mal, who's a non-binary teenager and just trying to find their way in the world, but they are neurodivergent. And so there's a lot of lists that happen. There's a lot of, like, everything has to be according to plan. And when it doesn't go to plan, there's a lot of hyperfixation that happens. The romance in this was sweet. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I enjoyed the friendships that came out of this. Basically what happens is the school literary magazine gets shut down because there's not enough funding. And so the kids go and start a zine on their own. And it's all about rebelling, but also, like, finding your way and learning to be creative. And just, there's a lot of beautiful friendships that happened in it. So I did really enjoy this one. I was really looking forward to this. And I feel like every time I read a Tiffany D. Jackson book, I get so invested in what is happening and I cannot put it down. And then I get to the ending and I want to throw the book across the room. Especially, like, Monday's Not Coming. I launched that book as far as I could because I was so mad at the ending. This one I kind of felt the same. It felt like a cop-out ending. And I love her, respect her for all the twists that she tries to put in books, because honestly I never know what freaking direction she's gonna go in, and so I'm always trying to figure out, like, I know how I think it's gonna end is never how it's actually gonna end. So I was hoping for a really great ending for this. Oh, it made me want to throw the book across the room, except it's personalized, so I'm not gonna do that. I just didn't love it. I didn't love the ending. I didn't love it. But this was another one that I read it in like a day and a half. I could not put it down. I had to keep going to see what was coming, because that's just how all of her writing is. But the ending for me was it was lackluster. It was so lackluster and just not what I wanted out of this book. Okay. Now, we have reached the books that I absolutely was an emotional wreckage over in this month. There are 5 of them, and let me tell you, whew, I need like a sip of water before I get into this, because I just, okay, here we go. This one, Ramin Abbas Has Major Questions. This is about a queer Muslim boy who is very respectful in his relationship with Allah. He goes to a Muslim school, so there's a lot of separation. He ends up finding out that he is not going to be able to graduate high school because he sat out during PE every day. So he has to make up for it. He has to make up the credits. He is forced to join the boys' soccer team, and he is infatuated with the captain, who is just this gorgeous guy. And so he's like, okay, it can't be that bad. My dad loves soccer. Like, I'll figure it out, but it's probably gonna be a mess. At the same time, there is one of the soccer players who is trying to throw the whole season for vengeance. And so he is very much caught in the middle, but he is also really questioning who he is as a person because of his sexuality. He is trying to figure out how he can be a gay boy, but also a Muslim. And it was well done. It laughed. They're great characters. The relationships are phenomenal. I loved so much of this book. I loved so much of it, and I hope that there's a sequel at some point to this, because I would love to see how he continues beyond high school and is really able to come into more of himself. Maeve Mulvaney Has Had Enough by Kelly Mangan. This is a middle school read, and I loved this book. Maeve is, as she would refer to herself, a little overweight. She is in middle school. She had to move because her mom got a new teaching job at a college in Florida, and so now they're kind of in like what she calls, it's like something of like the middle of nowhere, but there's a different word that she uses for it. She's just trying to adjust to being, I think she's in 8th grade. She's just trying to adjust to a new school, but there are some serious bullies. The friendship group, the friends that she makes, just absolutely wonderful. I love their camaraderie that they have. She draws everyone as superheroes at different points in time, and she's really into art, but her parents think that that's kind of a waste of time. Feisty, sarcastic. She got a temper. She has a temper throughout the book. But I just feel like she was really relatable to a lot of middle school kids, of feeling like adults are constantly over talking them and trying to tell them how they feel rather than letting them really explore and understand their own feelings. So I loved this one. I thought that it was so well done, and it really brings up a lot of great social issues. Okay, as someone who lives in New York State, The Trouble with Heroes by Kate Messner. What a gorgeous book, written in verse. Just, oh my gosh. Okay, Finn Connolly is our protagonist. His dad has passed. He has a lot of lingering resentment, a lot of emotional baggage because of it. He ends up going and doing some vandalism to a headstone in a cemetery. His punishment is now that he has to go hike the 46 high peaks in the Adirondacks in honor of the woman who was very much a female trailblazer for women hikers in the 46, in honor of her memory. And so his daughter, or her daughter, is the one who puts this all together and has this conversation with Finn and sets him up with 3 different people, 3 different adults to go hiking with. And it just, I loved it. I, as somebody who has hiked a couple of the 46, I just had like the best visualizations reading this book. It was phenomenal. I feel like Kate Messner can honestly do no wrong. It was stunning. I loved it. I flew through it in a day, and just, it really spoke to my New York heart. Fantastic read. Okay. These 2 books made me cry, and I really don't know which one to talk about next. Okay, here's how we're gonna go. The House No One Sees by Adina King. This is a gorgeous masterpiece. It's part prose, part verse. The protagonist, Penny, her mom is a drug addict. You find out very quickly. She ends up living with her grandparents and is taken in by them and is very supported by her. There is a lot of flashback to present that is happening. And it happens to be on Penny's birthday that she gets this phone call from her estranged mom saying, like, I need help. And so Penny returns to the house where she grew up, and it becomes almost like this labyrinth. mind game kind of thing where she like cannot get out. She's trying to find her mom. She's trying to figure out what happened. She's trying to save her mom. But the house is like showing her all of these memories and just dredging up all this old stuff. But it's stunning. The writing is gorgeous. So poetic, so beautiful, so thoughtful. The ending just, oh my gosh, I could not say enough about this. I'm actually using it as a mentor text in class in a couple of weeks, like parts of it, because it just is so well done. Okay, this book, I finished it, reading it in front of my kids, and I was like sobbing because of the ending, because it is not the ending I saw coming. It was not the ending that I wanted in any way, shape, or form. This book, though, the writing was gorgeous. It was stunning. And it's funny because I actually had read a different book of hers previously a couple years ago, and I was like, I don't think I'm going to read this other one of hers yet. And then one of my girls was like, I love this color because it's pink. You should read it. It's Full Flight by Ashley Schumacher. And this, I don't even know where to start talking about this book because it's so perfect. And Anna is one of the protagonists. Weston is the other. They are both in the marching band. Anna is very peppy, very, not goody two-shoes, but like just, she's very lively. And it's a front that she puts on for everybody, where Weston is very broody. There are rumors that he is the one who axed this new memorial tree that had been put up. And so people are very apprehensive of him. He's a weirdo, stay away from him, all this kind of stuff. They end up having to do a duet as part of the marching band for their school year. And Anna is not doing so well with it. She needs help because she joined band late in high school, where everybody else had kind of started in middle school or elementary school. She asks him for help because they're doing the duet together. And he kind of reluctantly agrees, but they're just like the perfect couple together, and their relationship, how it blossoms, lovely to read. And they both are dealing with like their own emotional baggage. Weston's parents have gotten divorced. They live in rural Texas. That's like a big no-no. So he's like also kind of shunned for that. He ended up going to a different school for a year and coming back because of that whole thing. And so they really support each other in so many ways throughout the book and really uplift each other, especially when they didn't think that they needed it necessarily. And it just was so lovely and so heartbreaking and so beautiful. This was a 5-star read, like completely, without a doubt. It was gorgeous. I loved it. I could not say enough about it. I cannot wait to like put it into multiple kids' hands at school. There's one girl I'm thinking of who I know she will devour this. She will love it and she will cry about it as I did, and we'll be able to talk about it for probably the next week. I did listen to a couple of books. I'm not going to get into that today because they were all the same. There were 4 that I listened to and they were like just kind of okay. Not really anything spectacular that stood out. They're good. They just weren't great. That brings us to the end of this video for the first time in a very long time with, wow, this very hefty pile that is going to make its way into my classroom as soon as we come back from spring break. It has been an absolute pleasure and joy catching up with all of you. Drop any comments about any of the books below. I would love to hear your thoughts if you have read them. And I will see you hopefully again, not 3 or 4 years later. Hopefully I will be able to have a little bit more time and energy to do this, but don't count on it. I hope you have a beautiful day. Love you.